What's good, everybody? It's me, Matt, from the Boxing Locker, and I'm here today to talk to you about the up-and-coming fight that we think is going to go ahead between Gervonta Tank Davis and the man King Ryan Garcia. Now, what do I think is going to happen? First and foremost, I think it's important to break down what they've done so far now. Tank has achieved some great things in boxing. We haven't really seen him in against any of those A-star names. Ryan Garcia achieved some good things in boxing, similar thing. This is sort of their come out fight. This will be their big announcement, you know. Whoever's the winner is going to go on to some really big things. Hopefully, the Devin Haney-Lomachenko fight will manifest, and then the winner of this fight will fight those for the undisputed lightweight championship. It would be a great thing to have an undisputed lightweight champion. There is a lot of great names in that division, and there would be some brilliant fights to be had. Now, Tank Davis obviously has gone up to higher weight, so Tank's boxed. I believe he boxed Mario Barrios at light welterweight, and Ryan Garcia looked reasonably comfortable around lightweight, even though he is dramatically larger. So let's get into the breakdown of the fight. What do I think is going to happen? Okay, so we've got a case of a guy in Tank who is a very, very competent, aggressive fighter, a reasonably good back foot fighter, carries dynamite in both hands, has great setup work. A lot of the work he does sets up those power shots really nicely. He seems to have some great grit and heart about him, doesn't mind having to dig deep, bite down on his gum shield and have a go at it. Not that we've really seen him have to do that too much. In Ryan Garcia, we have a tall, rangy, awkward, lightning fast fighter who has shown vulnerabilities, can be caught to the body, can be clipped with some shots, but you know, he's recovered from those and he's gone on to win all his fights, and he's got an incredibly impressive knockout highlight reel. You know, some of these fast counters where he's stepping back and throwing hooks and short right hands and left hooks to the body are just beautiful delivery. You know, with Tank, we've got that Leo Santa Cruz left uppercut. So, some great knockouts amongst them both, to be honest. Very impressive. There's loads of sparring content out there. You can watch both guys. So how do I think this fight plays out? Okay, that's enough talking about the two individual fighters. How do I think the fight plays out? First and foremost, I think a lot of people are completely pushing to one side Ryan Garcia's chances. They're pretending he hasn't got any chance. They're diminishing what he's already achieved, and they're diminishing his capabilities because of his social media presence and the manner in which he carries himself. The only argument I would have that aligns with that is that he has shown mental weakness, a lack of mental fortitude. He's had to take some time away from the sport to get his head straight. That's not to say he hasn't done that, but I do think that is something that can play out in the fight. We've seen in the past with certain fighters, their mental state being the problem as opposed to their physical capabilities. So yeah, I mean, aside from that, he's being pushed away. People don't think he's strong enough, don't think he's good enough to beat Tank. I think Tank is talked about as if he is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm not disputing he's very good. He's up there with the top 20 best fighters on the planet, I would say. He's got great power, as I said. He's got good hand speed, good combinations, good countering. He's almost a full package. For me, the problem is his size, and it is a factor. People say, you know, size isn't a factor. Look what he's done so far. Well, you could say the same about Roberto Duran. Size wasn't a factor for Roberto Duran until he came up against Tommy Hearns, who happened to have a massive reach advantage, who happened to have a massive height advantage, and look how that played out. Am I saying Ryan Garcia is capable of what Tommy Hearns did? Absolutely not. Am I saying there's still a risk? Yes. You know, we saw Tank getting clipped against Garcia at the weekend. We saw Tank getting clipped against Rowley, and you know, I think there's probably more to be concerned about in this Garcia fight. I believe there's an interview where Tank says himself Ryan Garcia will be his most difficult fight. He's got great hand speed, a lightning fast jab, and short snappy counters. You know, he doesn't need a great amount of space to land really quick. And the thing with Tank is he's going to be forced to find a way to get inside. Now, what that does is it makes for a difficult situation for him, because if he can't get inside early, he's going to be dropping rounds. If he drops rounds, that forces him to put more pressure on and puts him under more pressure later on in the fight. And then he walks into more and more punches, and it's kind of a downward spiral from there. So I'm sure they figured this out, by the way. Coach Calvin and Tank are both intelligent enough and boxing wise enough to know what they need to do. But can they do it on the night? You know, it's easy to do it in the gym comparatively. Garcia's going to be there from the outset, throwing sharp jabs, and just aiming down. You know, if Ryan Garcia aims that jab down at Tank's chest rather than the head, it's going to be very difficult for Tank to catch in his southpaw stance, to catch or to drop under it to find a way in. He's going to have to use footwork to get to the sides. Garcia can move off, and that just means he can maintain space. How do I think the fight is actually going to go with regards to result? I think there's only two outcomes. I think it's a late Tank stoppage / knockout, a late Tank stoppage knockout, or it's a Ryan Garcia points decision. I'll probably get lambasted for that, I'll probably get hammered for that, but as I said, I think Garcia has all the natural advantages. I think he can keep moving up in size. I think power isn't the be-all and end-all. Tank has got an enormous amount of power. He's got dynamite in his hands, but you have to be able to land. You know, Roberto Duran was an exceptional puncher. He had great head movement, great infighting. He had a great jab. He had great footwork. All of these factors, and did it help him when he was in with Hearns? No. Then you put him in against Iron Barkley, who didn't have the same physical advantages, and all of a sudden, Duran is still able to do the things he can. You know, I'm not saying Tank can't continue and be a great fighter, or that he can't keep moving up the weights. What I'm saying is, when you have a short guy who is not only an aggressive fighter, but a very proficient counter puncher, and you're in there against a lightning fast, lengthy, rangy, tall boxer who uses their feet very well, who's very reactive with counters, it's a difficult puzzle to undo. As I said, my two picks would be a late Tank KO or stoppage, or a Ryan Garcia points victory. If it is a Ryan Garcia points victory, I think it'll be a resounding one, and I think people will be down talking Tank afterwards unnecessarily. The reasons that I've said, you know, the same reason that people still talk rubbish about Duran, even though his achievements are enormous, just because a couple of bad performances, you know, the no mass scenario, the Hearns performance. Look, either way, both guys go on to have great careers moving forward. I think Tank probably is the harder night's work for Lomachenko, and I think Garcia would be the harder night's work for Haney. So either way, it will depend on how the other fight plays out to see who we get and what we get. But what a great time to be a fan of boxing, and what a great division lightweight is. Hopefully we see all of these fights made, losers fighting losers, winners fighting winners, and some of them up and coming names coming through, getting their chances as well. So there we have my prediction, either a Tank stoppage or KO in the last 4 or 5 rounds, no, 3 or 4 rounds I should say, or a Ryan Garcia resounding points victory. It's one way or the other for me. I don't see it going any other way. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you agree, disagree, I don't mind. Let's have a constructive conversation about it. It's great to chat about these things and hear other people's opinions. I might be completely and utterly wrong. There's no reason why I wouldn't be. I've been wrong in the past. As always, yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share far and wide, and thank you for watching the video. I appreciate you taking the time to come all the way to the end. Take care, guys.